So as far as names make, I'm with Celadon. Celadon is a full cycle software development company that helps restaurants and food and beverage companies to develop the tech stack and to run their businesses. And we're doing a series of podcasts to make sure what are the current challenges within the markets. And so far, we've talked to over, I guess, 30 restaurant chain leaders. And we've seen some of the issues right now that high labor and food costs, customer retentions in some restaurants is lower than expected. And also some companies are really dependent. They depend too much on third-party services and apps. And that's why I would like to have your perspective on different topics, how it affects maybe your business. And also in exchange, we would share this white paper about the information, about the challenges that also other companies faced. If you approve it and if you'd like, the podcast might be shared on the website. I guess my colleague also shared the link. But if not, nothing to be posted. And we will share the white paper in any case. Sounds good?
Got it. Sounds good.
Great. So I managed to do some homework and read about the Cuban Guys restaurants, but maybe just in short, you can tell me about your company, what it does, and who you are, what's your role at the company.
Got you. Well, Cuban Guys was born out of my passion for the Cuban frita and the Cuban sandwiches and my years of experience working with fast casual restaurants in the industry here in the United States. So what we try to do at Cuban Guys is combine the speed and efficiencies of the fast casual industry together with the authentic taste and flavors of Cuban food. And we bring our customers the quality and consistency of Cuban cuisine together with the serve style of a fast, dynamic, casual restaurant.
I see. I got it. Thanks for this info. I guess the first question I might have is that where people can enjoy your Cuban cuisine, because I saw that you guys are around Miami, and I guess I also saw there was a food truck mentioned.
Yes. We currently own and operate 5 restaurants in South Florida, 4 of them in Miami-Dade County, 1 of them in Broward County. And then we have our food truck, which is our mobile unit, that takes care of doing off-site special events, festivals, private parties, company picnics. We do a little bit of everything where the customers cannot come to our restaurants. We bring our food to them via our food truck, which is a very modern, well-equipped truck, which has a kitchen on wheels. It's amazing how much food we can put out of that unit.
I see. That's great. Great. I know it's kind of like, hard question to answer. But anyway, given the different circumstances, how do you see the future of your market?
Well, like any restaurant and like any business, there's great things and there's some not so great things. The good thing is that people will need to eat, and we capitalize on that. And, we offer them great experience, great food. And, success is a side effect of solid operations. If we consistently give great quality food with friendly service in a clean atmosphere, we slowly but surely build a customer base that will come back time and time again because they crave the flavors of our restaurant and the smiles of our employees. So I see the future very bright. It's a tough business. It has been. I've been over 35 years in the business, and there's challenges. All challenges can be overcome as long as you treat the customer experience with white gloves.
Yeah, definitely. There are also ups and downs, and there are some challenges. But speaking about challenges, are there any kind of some specific challenges for the Cuban Guys that you're facing right now and you're responsible for solving?
Absolutely. There's the cost challenge. The restaurant business has very thin margins, and as I tell my team, it's a penny and nickel business. When you're talking about, a ketchup package, my employees say, George, that's a 2 cents is worth of a ketchup package. I said, absolutely. And if we save those 2 cents, a customer asks you for ketchup and you get a hand pick full of ketchup and give him 7 packages. But for an order of French fries, 3 packages would be more than enough. The additional 4, are going to go to the waste. At 2 cents a piece, that's 8 cents. Not a big deal. But when you serve 250 customers a day, at the end of the year, those 2 cents of a ketchup package can easily pay for your insurance. And they don't see that. And the cost challenges that restaurants have, it's one of the bigger challenges. But that's what we are here for, to solve that issue, identify where we can save some money, identify where we can buy at a better cost without having to put our quality in jeopardy. We maintain the quality, and we source it from different vendors. We train our employees to maximize on what we have. And we have to be creative and manipulate the schedule, the menu, in ways that the more profitable items are put in the customer's face, and have them taste them and try them. So hopefully they buy those, as opposed to buying the margins, the menu items that are not profitable and don't have that much margins. Then we also have to review our schedule, and when we see what time we open or what time we close, and what times are our items of better sales moving. There's a lot of moving parts in the restaurant industry that we can kind of tweak to get end results that we have, which is hitting our food cost targets and our labor targets.
I see. And when it comes to managing 5 locations, I mean, I'm really curious about how many people you need to run 5 locations, plus your own food truck, because I understand that food truck travels all around South Florida or the entire states as well.
No, South Florida. We do Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Yes.
Yeah.
And what we have to do is slowly we build an infrastructure where every store has the general manager, which is in charge of overall operations. That general manager has 3 shift managers under them covering different shifts. And then I have a director of operations that oversees all 5 locations. The own food truck manager, and that food truck manager is in charge of his employees, his schedule, for the product for the truck. And, everybody has their piece of responsibilities that they are held accountable for. And that way it allows me to oversee the whole operations and be able to identify who needs more help, who needs more support, what items will we need. And, you hire the right person, put them in the right place, and operations become a lot easier.
Yeah, as they say, divide and conquer, because you can solely manage all the stuff, and you need some other people to help you. But by the way, how many people are working at Cuban Guys restaurant? Because LinkedIn says it's up to 200 people, but I'm really curious about your number.
Right. It's each location, depending on the volume, has between 25 and 30 employees. Some of them have 18, some of them have 20, some of them have 25. And it's on the location, how big the location is, how much volume does it do, and overall is that. And then I have a director of operations in charge of all 5 locations, and then myself overseeing the whole company.
Oh, right. Since we've already started talking about the team, then keeping the team and delivering functionality over different positions and people, how do you manage consistency across these, not 5, but 6 locations? What's the secret sauce in your case?
Well, it's secret. I mean, any restaurateur will tell you that the consistency, it's all derived from our training programs. You need to make sure that you have a training manual that, this is what the flat grill cook operations looks like, and this is the recipe you need to follow. And, when you're going to cook a steak, this is how you do it, step 1, 2, 3. And then what you need to do is just make sure that, it starts when you hire the right employee for each of the locations and each of the positions that you work. Once you hire them, then how well you train them will dictate how consistent that employee will be. You teach them the specifics of each position and the specifics of each duty that position has. You teach them, and then you see how they're doing. You make sure that you review the teachings that you did. You have them show you what they did and how they did it and why they did it. Very important to find out the why after each procedure. Because sometimes you tell them, this is how much seasoning do you put on the steak. And then if you just tell them that and don't explain to them, because if you put too much of it, it tends to get salty. If you put too little of it, then it tends to be flavorless. So you need to make sure that you put this exact amount. And then once they understand the why behind that step, it's more likely that they will follow it every time they cook the steak. So you need to kind of pinpoint the exact procedures and why is it important that they follow it. So after you tell them that, you show them how to do it, you review it with them, you tell them to show it back, teach it back to you, and that you can appraise how well did you understand your teaching. And then you let them perform. You them for that person. You let them perform, and you evaluate their performance periodically to make sure that they are staying within the game. And that goes from the prep person in the back cutting the steaks and the tomatoes to the cashier taking the order and making sure they welcome every employee as they walk in and making sure that they offer the dessert. And every step of their position has to be emphasized.
So it's teaching. Let's call it ping pong teaching then.
Correct. It's not only who you hire, but how you train them. Those are two key ingredients on the success of any restaurant. I tell my managers that the most important decision they will make is who they hire and how they train them, because that person is going to be an extension of them. Because when the store is not performing well, I typically look at the leader of the store. I don't look at the cashier and says, hey, that cashier is not offering dessert or that cashier is not welcoming the customer. I mean, the person responsible for it is the GM, because that's the person that hired them and trained them. So that's the way we look at it. And thankfully, if my team will look at this podcast when it aired, I want to thank each and every one of them, because, I think that I am very, very to have the people that we have working in our team. Without them, Cuban Guys would not be where it is today.
Yeah. I guess your teammates would also appreciate you and thank you as much, because understanding that you need to put so much faith and trust and in them and to properly teach them, understanding that the success is like not only pushing the stuff but constantly teaching them. Yeah, it's the key to all the stuff. I'm really curious to know one thing about Cuban Guys is that, do you guys rely solely on physical presence?
I lost your body.
Oh yeah. My apologies. I'm really curious to know more about the ordering side of Cuban Guys, because I know that a lot of restaurants, they rely on either their own delivery systems or third-party services. And when reading checking about Cuban Guys, I guess I didn't find anything about your own application or maybe third-party services. How do you run your business in your case, Jorge?
Well, we do have dine-in, takeout, and delivery. We do have online ordering from our website. We don't have an actual app, but we do have it directly on our website. And then we're also on the most popular third-party platforms. It's not my favorite, but how we call it is a necessary evil. They take a big chunk of our order, and they just not very profitable sales. Let's put it that way. But we have it as a necessary evil. In today's economy and today's market, people, after COVID, people just focused on ordering online. And a lot of times when they are going to choose a restaurant, they don't even know what restaurants they want. And they open a third party app and they start scrolling, and if you're not there, you're out of the game and not in front of the customer's eyes. So we do encourage our customers to order directly from CubanGuysRestaurants.com. And then on our website, you can click the link order online and be able to place your order online. And we have pickup and delivery. And we try to, make it clear to them that when they order directly from the restaurant, whether it's Cuban Guys or any restaurants they order directly, they will be saving on added fees that most third-party companies add fees to your order. And the restaurant itself will be serving money on the commission. So what I kind of try to put out there as a message, as I just recorded an Instagram video to start promoting, is that when you order directly from the restaurant, You save on fees, the restaurant saves a commission, and it's a win-win for both of us. So I
Mhm.
encourage everybody to order directly from us as opposed to going through a third-party app.
I see. I see. I get it. And if you mind asking me such a question, how is Cuban Guys in terms of like third party services? Because the way you say that it's a necessary evil sounds like over 50% approximately you rely on third party services. Would my assumption be correct?
No, no, that's correct. We do a lot of volume on
Uh
our
huh.
own platform.
Oh,
However,
that's
what
great.
I say is a necessary evil is because a lot of the customers that we don't reach ourselves are
Exactly.
hooked to that application. And even that we have to pay a tough commission, that
Yeah.
customer would have ordered from someplace else if we weren't
Hmm.
there. Because the person that wants to order Cuban Guys is straight thinking, goes to my website, orders from me, and didn't even think of anybody else. But a customer says, "Oh, I'm hungry for lunch. Let me pull out Uber and see what's available." And they start scrolling. That's a customer that I capture, and the
Hmm.
customer that wasn't thinking of Cuban Guys. So if we gave them a good experience in their past and they see us on the app, they will go
Hmm.
ahead and click and place that order. So we do get a good amount of orders from the third party apps. So that's why at one point I said, you know what, I'm tired of paying this many commissions. I'm out. And I turned the app off for about a week. And then I said, you know what, let's reconsider that decision. Let's turn it back on because we're missing out on the customers that were not thinking of Cuban Guys and when they were just shopping where to go.
Yeah, yeah, definitely makes sense. And since you mentioned that right now you're focusing all your efforts on convincing customers to, like, order directly from your website, I also assume that with the years, you have accumulated a really database of loyal customers who enjoy Cuban food. And as your motto says, you don't have to be Cuban to enjoy the food. So
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, and I'm really curious about, do you have any kind of like loyalty program to reward your constant customers who come on again and again and again to enjoy your food?
Absolutely, yes. Through our ordering system, we do have their phone numbers and
Oh,
their
I see.
cell phone numbers. So when we have a lapsed customer that hasn't come by for over 45 days, we send them a
Hmm.
little reminder that says, "Hey, we miss you. Here's a 10% off for your next order. Use coupon code this much." Or our avid customer that orders for us every week, we send them another note saying, "Hey, thank you. We noticed that you eat from us very frequently. Here's a 10% discount for next week's order." So we kind of are able to go ahead and with those clients that have
Hmm.
used us before, to those that are used us frequently, and to those that kind of lapse on their visit. So that's a very, very way of keeping our brand in front of their customers.
Yeah, and people do not forget in this case that they can enjoy Cuban food once more.
Exactly, exactly. And you mentioned our slogan, you don't have to be Cuban to love us. And the idea of that came from when we first opened Cuban Guys,
Hmm.
I had, friends in the industry. I worked in restaurant industry for years and says, George, you made a mistake. Why did you put the word Cuban on people are going to assume that your restaurant is only for Cuban people. And, if I'm not Cuban, I might feel intimidated by name Cuban Guys because that's a
Yeah.
restaurant that's meant for Cuban folks. And I said it's completely the opposite. I put the word Cuban in there because the Cubans, I know that they like my food and they're going to come. They're the core customers, and I know that I have them on my pocket. But I want to let the world know that we have Cuban food, and we want our non-Cuban friends to come try us out. And in today's generation, people are a little bit more free and a little bit more daring to try new and different things. 30 years ago, when you used to your rotisserie chicken and your mashed potatoes, you were afraid to venture into something else that's not as the way you're used to. Nowadays, that trend has shifted, and people are actually looking for different flavors and different things that I haven't tried before. So that you don't have to be Cuban to love us comes to, you're not Cuban, come here because this is a place for you. We want you to try our Cuban food that we're proud of, and we know you're going to be hooked.
Yeah, this really sounds great, and I love the way it sounds. Because next time I'm somewhere around Florida, hopefully I'll try. I'll go and give it a try. Because It sounds lovely, and I would love to try it. Besides, as you properly mentioned, that yes, years ago people were more conservative about what to eat, but thanks to being like more open-minded these days, we also have like pizzas with an
Absolutely.
yeah. When it comes to also loyalty programs, were any kind of things that you tried and this wasn't effective and you swapped to something else? I don't know.
Well, not particularly in loyalty though, but in other forms of marketing.
Mm.
Back, 50 to 13 years ago when we opened, we used to do mailings on the actual physical mail and send coupons out, buy one, get one, or
Mhm.
$2 off. And every time business was kind of slow, you would go ahead and send the mailer out, and boom,
Mhm.
that week in your store will be full of coupons and full of people taking advantage of those things. And over
Yeah.
the years, as the internet has grown and more people have their cell phone and their electronics with them, those physical coupons that you put in the mail have just dried out, and
Mhm.
everything now is more electronically driven. And it's a change that we've been experiencing, um, and it's all part of the times. And as technology advances, some of the things that worked in the past do not work today. I am really curious to see what artificial intelligence is going to do to marketing as we move forward with this boom of artificial intelligence, and
Yeah.
see the generation of marketing tricks.
Yeah, when it comes to marketing, AI really might be helpful, especially in analyzing data and creating helpful patterns to push and let some people know that hey, you haven't ordered like I don't know this cocktail for a while or this your favorite meal for a while. Maybe give it a
Absolutely.
try. And here's the 10% discount or anything else, or let's say you see there is a pattern and within the users who prefer something over the other. So yeah, it's definitely helpful and something that boosts also the restaurant industry and something that restaurants are really helpful about because they see an opportunity in this. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Also, when it comes to restaurants and working with customers, I often heard that the retention is a mystery to a number of restaurants. Like they don't know when or why customers stop coming. And I'm really curious about what's the Cuban Guys approach in this case. How do you guys track retention rates or maybe churn patterns at all?
Well, basically, when you're in the store and you're in the stores frequently, and even the managers know, you see the regulars come in week after week after week, and you even memorize their orders. So from a feel and look and feel of the restaurant, that does take into effect. There are out there, and there's systems out there
Mhm.
that track credit card usage. That through your POS, every time the customer uses the card, it can kind of would alert you to you know there's the business is twice a month
Mhm.
of average customers that pays with a credit card, and you can track your retention rate and you can track your frequency of the customer visits through
Mhm.
those systems. And nowadays, it is. I remember, 10, 15 years ago, we would have 70% cash payment, 30% credit card payment. And that's another
Mhm.
another another area of the restaurant industry that has progressed. Right now, you have probably about 80% of your income coming through credit cards, and only 20% of people pay cash. And as time progresses, I see that cash transaction getting lower, which in turn, it just because we pay credit card fees on those credit card charges, but it helps us because we collect the data of frequency, we collect the data of the customers are coming, and it helps. And also, to not have so much cash on hand on the store, which is always prone to get lost.
Yeah, yeah. I'm mostly curious. Do you keep the same approach when, like, trying to figure out if the customer is at risk of never ordering again, or you would use something else? I don't know. To
Those are reports, and the third party companies help us a lot, because the third
Mhm.
party companies does have the reports of, this week you had this many customers, and out of those many, this many were repeat customers. So you say, I served 3,000 customers and 2,000 came back. That's a number. And then the good thing is that I was able to try 1,000 new customers this period. So it does help you to analyze the data and let's get a gauge of how where.
I got it. But by the way, George, when you mentioned third party services you also use to track some data, what do you mean? I mean, are there some like agencies, marketing, or
No, the party delivery apps.
oh, I see, I see.
When we go into their dashboards, if we
Mm-hmm.
did 3,000 orders, they will let you know out of those 3,000, 2,000 were repeat orders and 1,000 were new customers.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got
that kind of information provided by the third party
it.
apps, it's useful for us to kind of gauge our success.
I got it. But mostly, I assume that this data isn't as representative as you would like to. I mean, that you would love to have more data, and I assume that this data is like kind of almost close to being classified with like okay, this and could have been ordered, but no specific preferences or anything that would like help you directly to boost selling something.
Well, data is always a plus. I mean, the more you know about your business, the better decisions you make. So there's nothing, an overwhelming amount of data because there's systems that gives you too many things. You just have to filter out the ones that
Mhm.
you don't use. But I entered when I go to my POS and I start playing around to on the dashboard to learn how to use it. I kind of see data there. I'm going, interesting. I never knew this about my business. And then I see some data that I go, I really can care less about this, and I just push it aside.
Yeah, yeah, great, and that's really great that POS also allows presents you some kind of data that also helpful. I guess that's all on my end. I do appreciate the insights and appreciate your time, George. We're going to share with you the white paper as insights of the market. By the way, given what you've said about the necessary evil which are delivers the third party delivery companies are, and how fond you are of data, made me think of something that we have done for plenty of customers. Because as I said, we're a software development company. So I was curious if you're opposed to scheduling just another call where we can talk about like these challenges if they're affecting you and what might be the possible solutions to these problems. If not, I'm not pushing you. We'll be sharing the insights anyway.
Yeah. No, I'll be open to learn. I mean, there's always a good opportunity to learn something that I don't know. Might be a secret bullet that I did not know it exists. Then I can tell you that I've been approached to a lot of new innovative systems and tools, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just cannot afford it. As I mentioned before, our industry has really thin margins, and with only 5 locations, I don't have deep pockets. I say I have this golden bullet for you to your food cost issue, but it's going to cost you $35,000. I'm going like, it's a great thing, but I cannot afford it at this time. I keep it in mind, and whenever I have the $35,000 to spare, I'll come running for it.
Yeah, yeah, great. Would the same time next week work for you? Are you available, by the way?
Sure. Yeah, Mondays is a good thing. Monday morning is my office time, and I got time in my hands.